and the spark ignites and things begin to move. Our story begins with inconvenient passion. That tiny voice that spoke to each one of us deep down when it was least convenient, but most important that we listened. Our story begins with something bigger than ourselves and is written far less practical and far less safe than conventional society tells us is all right. It is the belief in words. Words 400 years old by some son of a glove maker, and the belief that they still hold weight, and that what we do matters. Even though it's kind of hard to define to the lady in the checkout line, but it just makes sense. It is the belief in stories inside of stories inside of stories. 108 different stories from across the very globe itself combining to tell one of the great ones. The story of a young prince out for revenge against his uncle. And no matter how many times you tell your friends back home that you're not doing the Lion King, it still gets complicated. It is in the becoming and the making. The gift of the knowledge that every star we wished upon came true, and now we're doing what we do for that kid who we once were, who looked at people like we are now and thought someday, we are the becomers of our own somedays. And it is that quiet voice that spurs us towards those somedays, and those somedays yet to come that we buy minute for minute with our sweat and tears, with hearts that beat in time with 10-syllable lines, that we still get excited to say even when we know the endings, because sometimes there's pirates. And we few, we happy few, we band of brothers who took matters into our own hands when it mattered most and made the easiest, hardest choice that we have ever had to make. To do this now. To bare our souls in a digital age to a room full of strangers who do not have a like button. Passion comes from within, from that tiny voice that whispers to us when it is least convenient, but most important that we listen, that we are all great stories. Happy California!